Hello, everybody. How are you doing today? Welcome to Church at Home with Rachel for Thursday, the 23rd of October. I needed to look in this to find out what day the date is. I have no clue. Just that kind of week. Getting ready to go to Victoria on Monday until Friday, come back for 2 days, and head to Niagara Falls, Ontario from Monday to the following Sunday, and a bunch of stuff in between. So just kind of I do whatever is the next thing in front of me at the moment. And right now, that is to record Church at Home with Rachel. And I'm glad to be doing it. It's one of the things that gives me great joy in life. Another thing that gives me great joy in life is when we all come together, when everybody figures out how we're called to be, and we get wrapped up in the moment and things just happen. And so this past kind of couple of days, weekend, was pretty powerful. I think it was Saturday that was No King's Day in the States and other places in the world. And I think it was Monday night that Toronto Blue Jays won the World Series. Sorry to Seattle that they didn't make it. They still haven't made the World Series, maybe next year. But it's been since 1993 that a Canadian team, well, the only Canadian baseball team, made it to the World Series. And we won it in 92 and 93. So maybe that bodes well for us. But for Canada, I think it was Monday night when we won, because it didn't look like we were going to win for most of the game. But when we did win, it was like the world erupted in a good way. We all came together in a common cause. Now, I'm not a big baseball fan, and I'm certainly not a Toronto Blue Jays fan. I don't cheer for Toronto for anything, on principle, actually, because in my house, they're part of my house does. So it's a bit of a family drama thing. Um, but the fact is that it's also been since 1993 that a Canadian team won the Stanley Cup. And although Canadian teams consistently, every year somehow, manage to win the Grey Cup, no one else in the world pays any attention to that. So unless we win at the Olympics, which we never do, we might get lots of golds, but we never eclipse the bigger countries who have more people. So this is a big thing for Canada, to their only team to make it to the World Series. And so it brings us together, those of us who don't like baseball, those of us who don't really like Toronto, for just a brief moment in time, for 4 to 7 games, we were all cheering for our national team. And that reminds me of what was happening on Saturday with No King's Day 2.0. I think it was 2.0. People gathering together to show that together we can make differences. People that were sharing their common thoughts and views about something that they see happening in their world. And that is a really powerful thing when people gather together non-violently to share their thoughts, to share their emotions, to work together to cause change, to celebrate something. It's amazing what happens to the temperature in the area, isn't it? Pressures, the pressure is relieved, temperature comes down, people begin to look at each other with joy and hope, even if just for a moment. I have no idea what's going to happen tomorrow night when Toronto meets the Dodgers, the reigning world champions. It always kills me when it's the world champions when there's only one team from a different country that could possibly be involved. It's like the NFL. How can that be champions of the world when only American teams get to play? I don't get that. Even the NHL does not call that the World Cup. It's the Stanley Cup. Anyway, it doesn't make any difference. The point being that when we gather together, when we find something that we can all agree on, or that great groups of people can agree on, and we come together and we celebrate that thing, even if just for a moment, a little blip in time, I think the world stands still. For just a moment, others looking on us who maybe are wishing that they could have that celebration or that hope that things might change. They look on us and they see the celebration, they see the hugs and the smiles and the people chanting the same things together, all in concert. And for a moment, I think it brings hope to the world that when things are bad, they can become better. When you're torn apart, you're encouraged to be torn apart from your neighbor, there are always things like sports or community events or things like that that can bring us together, even when it feels like we can't be brought together. The truth is, we have more in common than we don't. And the call we have is to look for those things. Sometimes it's really easy, like cheering on the only Canadian team, and sort of adopting them as our thing. Like for next week, our national bird will be the blue jay, just because. The things like that. It doesn't have to last forever. It would be tremendous if it could. It would be tremendous if we could all work together for things like No Kings and things like inviting our communities to cheer on our children and celebrate one another, no matter what we're doing. It would be great if we could do that consistently all the time. It would change the world for the better, wouldn't it? But we can still change the world for the better if we do it little bits at a time. When we take advantage of those moments like No Kings, or those moments when the country erupted in celebration because the Jays won in 7 games and we're going to the World Series. When we have those moments, whether they're writ large on the world screen or across our cities and countries, or whether they're at home or in our little neighborhoods where we can reach out to others and celebrate the things we have in common, we can change the world. Sure, the Blue Jays winning the World Series isn't going to change the world, but for a little while it's going to remind Canadians that we are better together. We are stronger when we are together. And that's something I think, considering our own politics and everything up here are going, I think that's something we need to be reminded of. And for those who gathered for No Kings, for those who watched on and realized in the back of their mind thinking, that's just all garbage, that's leftist liberal things. But then they watched, they saw there was no violence. And it was millions, literally millions of people gathering from all kinds of places in every state and places around the world, all coming together to say, we have a voice and we have a message and we have the right to share it. And there's power in that message. Think about what that means to all those people in all those countries looking around and saying, we could have a message too. Things might not be going great where you live. Things might be downright dreadful right now. But that doesn't mean that there isn't hope. No Kings, Jays going to the World Series. I don't know, but that gives me hope. Maybe silly hope, but hope begats hope. Where light shines in, darkness flees. Where tiny seeds of love are planted, great oaks of protection and love will grow. And it starts with recognizing when we can gather together with something in common for the good. So whether it's No Kings work or cheering together as Canadians for the Blue Jays, whatever it might look like, let's work on that together. Let's work on finding the hope and the common message and allowing ourselves to work together. What can you do to work with others today? Because you can't do it by yourself. But it really only takes one other to help you. And then 2 becomes 4, becomes 8, becomes 16, becomes 32, becomes 64, becomes 128, becomes 256 or something like that. It can happen. Never give up hope. Just like those Blue Jays fans who waited 30 some years for this to happen again. Don't give up hope. Have a great day. God bless. And I will see you again tomorrow for Feel Good Friday on Church at Home with Rachel.